Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today. Found in most local grocery stores.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite Tailored Light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com. Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Guys, you've heard me tell you all about Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, but it's not just me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun, the atmosphere is a total blast, and I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Farrell's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Welcome in to the Corner 3, taking you around the arc of college basketball. From the NAAC to the Pac-12, the WCC to the SWAC. We cover it all now on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Orman.
That's right. The Corner 3 moved up an hour here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as streaming worldwide on our free app for your phone. An hour of college hoops chatter coming your way as teams across the country open up their seasons, the first official day of practice. But here's what's special. Coming up after the Corner 3, DPE. That's right. The Don't Punt Hour. That's what we're calling it. DeMornay Pearsonell in the building. He will be live starting at 7. So we hope you're here for college hoops talk. But if you're here for one of the most exciting Huskers of at least my lifetime, definitely stick around here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Austin Norman. You hear me normally during On the Block with Strick and Austin. That's 2 to 4 weekdays right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Just got out of old school DP and J as well. Tonight's episode, we're calling it the Discourse episode. As we toss this around, there are just teams we want to talk about. There are teams we are obligated to talk about, and teams we just can't help but talk about. So if there's a college basketball team, whether it's your college basketball team, your team's rival, just a team you're curious about, let us know. 402-464-5685. We've got our own lists of a few teams that we're going to get through, again, being limited to an hour. We probably could go through all 350 some Division I men's basketball schools if we really wanted to, but we're going to narrow it down a little bit. So just a few teams that we have our eyes on. We'll give you our thoughts. It's not going to be maybe the most in-depth, but what are we curious about? Who are some guys that stand out to us? What are some of those teams that we're going to be watching this year? Again, as college basketball season really gets underway today. No, they're not playing games for another 6-7 weeks or so, but first day practice is a big one. It sets the tone. It absolutely does. So to kick off this Discourse episode, again, 402-464-5685. Give us a team you're interested in for us to talk about, or on Twitter at Austin_Orman. I just tweeted the link to the show. Drop a reply there if you have a team, and we will get to it at some point. First team on the docket, though, as always, your Nebraska Cornhuskers. Ask Strick this at the end of the 2 o'clock hour. What's his biggest storyline for this Nebraska men's basketball team? If you missed it, check out the podcast for Strick's full analysis of it. But basically speaking, Strick said Keisei Tominaga. What's his role? How does Nebraska use him? That will determine a lot for Strick on how the season goes. But also Keisei Tominaga's professional prospects. That's a guy that went through the pre-draft process, got a look from some teams before ultimately deciding to make his way back to Lincoln to play another year here. Strick says he wants to see Keisei run a team more. Keisei played a lot off the ball, had it for some sets, had the ball in his hands for some sets, but wasn't really in charge of running the team. That was a Sam Hoiberg job, mostly a Sam Griesel job. Even Jamarcus Lawrence did it more than Keisei Tominaga did. So for Strick, the next step for Keisei, if he wants to move on to a professional career, stateside at least, prove he can handle the rock. And that's not just assists. It's not just avoiding turnovers. It's running a team. It's leadership. It's communication. We know Keisei is the heart and soul of this team. His energy is absolutely infectious and contagious. That's why he's become, such a fantastic figure in Nebraska athletics, in Nebraska media. That's a dude who has a good time playing ball. Can he channel that energy and be a spark to the rest of the team? And can he do it consistently? Guard is definitely a storyline that I'm monitoring as well. Nebraska has a lot of guards. Let's just run down the list. CJ Wilcher, 6'5". He's a junior now. If there's a leap in CJ Wilcher, I really hope it's this year. A leap in consistency shooting the basketball. Can he take a step up on the defensive end? CJ's a leader on that team. I don't know if he's the most vocal guy. He's a hard worker. He's tried to get that shot going. But if he can be a consistent 3-and-D type of guy, there's a leadership role and there's a spot on the floor for CJ Wilcher. Sam Hoiberg played his way into the hearts of Husker fans everywhere after the injuries last year. Defensive menace. You'll hear him on Walk On Weekly tonight as well with Jeff Grace. What's Sam Hoiberg's role? Can he carve out more minutes, right? Just because he did it last year doesn't mean he's guaranteed minutes this year. Husker fans are rooting for him, kind of one of their own to some degree. Let's see what Sam's got. Ramel Lloyd Jr. Landon's talked about this. The guys that sit out for a year when they get to campus under Fred Hoiberg have been good. Ramel Lloyd Jr., stage might be yours. It's going to be a competition, but having talked to Ramel, having, watched him a little bit, I think he's going to be up for that challenge. Then you get to your first transfer. Bryce Williams, listed as a guard on the roster, 6'7", 213 junior transfer in from Charlotte. I am all aboard the Bryce Williams train. I absolutely am. That's a guy that I think is going to be a huge piece for this team. Aaron Eulis still listed on the roster. Wonder for how much longer that's going to be. There was some news last week that we went over. Not officially off the team, not officially out of commission. I just doubt we see Aaron Eulis. Jerron Coleman, Boogie, they get him from Ball State as a late transfer. Former Nebraska assistant Michael Lewis, the head coach at Ball State, of course. Coleman, a second-team All-MAC guy who has some experience playing at Missouri. Again, bigger type of guard at 6'5", 213, about C.J. Wilcher sized, but had the ball in his hands a lot more than C.J. Wilcher did. What's his shot diet? What's his role on this team? Is he a starter? Is he an energy buckets kind of guy off the bench? Curious to see that. Jamarcus Lawrence, what's in store for him? That's a guy that wasn't expected to play last year. If you think back, remember, Karan McPherson was the one that through preseason camp had the leg up. But then the unfortunate knee injury for McPherson, who ends up transferring out of the program. The injuries really brought Jamarcus Lawrence to the forefront. I would say it was a lot more up than down for Jamarcus Lawrence. Really good shooter. Had some games that he couldn't miss. Can he do that again this year? How does he look running a team? How in control is he? As my guess would be the backup one, more a secondary ball handler if he is a starter. And one more guard, a couple more guards actually to keep in mind. Eli Rice, really, really impressed in Spain. That coaching staff was really happy with what they saw from Eli Rice, the true freshman coming in from IMG Academy. Played well in Spain, played well over spring and summer practices when the team got together. We'll see if there's anything in store for him this fall. And Cale Jacobson, again, a Nebraska kid who made some waves in Spain. Fred Hoiberg pointed Cale Jacobson out for playing every position 1 through 5 in what I believe was Nebraska's first game over in Spain. Is there a role for Cale Jacobson off the bench? Is he a shorter Sam Griesel, right? Can he slide, anywhere 1 through 3 and be competent defensively? How does he handle the ball? Can he have the Sam Hoiberg just be in the right spot at the right time, make the right play when it's called upon sort of role? Maybe. We'll see. We know Cale Jacobson could absolutely fill it up, could stroke it at the high school level. We haven't really seen any of that translation. He didn't get on the court last year in college action, but I'm fascinated to see how that guard rotation shakes out. Wing, I think, is a little sketchy for Nebraska. Juwan Gary fully cleared. I don't know if we mentioned that on the show. Juwan Gary fully cleared for all basketball activities in the middle of last week. So moving forward, he's good to go. He's an option on the wing. Maybe Bryce Williams slides up. He'll play the 3, maybe the 4. I think the 4 is a bit of a stretch, as slight as Bryce Williams is. Josiah Allick. Is he used as a wing? Is he used as a big? I'm fascinated to see that. Does CJ Wilcher slide up at all? And then finally, the big man rotation. Really, I think this is going to be what determines Nebraska's regular season success, is how well the big men hold up in the Big Ten regular season. Rink Mast, the Bradley transfer with his overseas experience playing for the Netherlands, I think he's going to be good. I really do. If he shoots 35% from 3 on 4 attempts per game, give or take, you don't want many more than that. I think that's huge. He's going to be out on the perimeter quite a bit, but not in the same way that Derek Walker was. I don't think Rink Mast has the handle that Derek Walker did for a big man. I don't think he's that quick. He does have a baggie in the low post, though, so I think we're going to see a lot of interesting uses for Rink Mast. Blaise Keita, can he stay healthy? That's the question. Been dealing with the ankle issues, and can he develop into a dominant force, right? Blaise Keita, charge taker extraordinaire is what we heard last year. That's not gonna cut it. Blaise has got to swat some shots. He's got to be a force on the offensive glass as well. Don't be a gentle giant. Just go be a giant. That'd be my challenge for Blaise Keita. And then you look at Matar Diop. That's a guy Rink Mast was asked about, said all the tools, all the skills are there for Matar Diop. If it's athletically, maybe he's a bit of a Dubio Keke type. Defensively, just a menace, swatting shots left and right with that same kind of raw ability, right? We kind of saw that from Wilhelm Breidenbach, where he just got going too fast. Maybe didn't always look the most coordinated. Maybe there's some Eduardo Andre to Matar Diop, potentially. Another guy in Andre who's not with the program any longer. There's a lot of fascinating pieces for this Nebraska team in what's absolutely a make or break year. It has to be. They claw their way to 500. They finished 16-16 last season. Disappointing first round exit in the Big Ten tournament. I mean, you get that record in conference play, but you're in a logjam of teams in that, 6-12, 7-11, 8-10, 9-9 range in conference play. You end up playing day one. It's against Minnesota, who you beat twice in close games, but you can't get it done at the Big Ten tournament. A lot of questions yet to answer for Nebraska men's basketball, women's basketball starting up as well. Definitely a lot of storylines to monitor, but this is where we turn the discourse national. Plenty of time to talk Huskers. But again, if you have a college basketball team that you're curious about, will they be the same? Will they be better? Will they take a step back? Is there a player that went somewhere that you're interested to see how they fit? Let us know, 402-464-5685 or on Twitter at Austin_Orman. Give us those teams. We'll get to them next. This is the Corner 3 on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to the Corner 3 on 93.7 The Ticket. More college basketball analysis after this timeout.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and our big fall sales underway, and the new truck incentives are off the charts. Over $5,000 in discounts on select new Sierras and Silverados, and 0.9% interest rates. Yes, you heard right. $5,000 off, 0.9% interest rates on select new trucks here at Koppel. So please take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street and check out that great small-town vibe with big city deals. We look forward to seeing you, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico,
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today. Found in most local grocery stores.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to the corner three on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Orman.
That's right. We're getting into the discourse. It is that time. This is an episode we've been cooking up for a while because we have thoughts on teams. And this is a national look at college basketball. Obviously, when it's warranted, we'll talk Huskers. But this is not going to be a Huskers episode anymore. This is looking nationally from 1 to 353 or however many teams it is in college basketball this year. We're going up and down the spectrum. Some stars, some studs, some sickos. Everything in between, I'm sure we'll cover it. Matt and Landon in as well here for the hashtag discourse episode. Fellas, I'm going to start us off with a team that I've been curious about for a while, but given the context of last season, I'm even more curious about. It's a West Coast team. It's St. Mary's. And what Randy Bennett and co are doing out there, count me in as a big Aiden Mahaney fan. What he was doing was essentially Matt Bradley light for St. Mary's, Matt Bradley at San Diego State. And that's my intrigue with St. Mary's, is the San Diego State aspect. The Aztecs finally had their run. right? That's been a solid program that's been a single-digit seed plenty of times. They've dominated their conference pretty well for most of the last decade plus, but could never really break through. It was a Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8 type of team. And that's where St. Mary's is. Like, it knows who it is. It knows where it is out in the West Coast Conference behind Gonzaga. But you've never seen St. Mary's make that run like San Diego State did. This also cracked me up. Last year's number 14 finisher, according to KenPom, was San Diego State. Last year's number 13 team, according to KenPom, your St. Mary's Gales. Is it time for St. Mary's to finally have that run? Have they knocked at the door long enough for this to be their year? I don't know, but I am fascinated by what Randy Bennett has going on out at St. Mary's this year and if it's their turn.
Yeah, Austin, that was one of the teams that I nearly selected for a discourse team because they are fascinating. And it's something I've honestly thought a little bit about over the summer is just, what would have happened if the bracket makers, swapped out St. Mary's and San Diego State. They were both 5 seeds, or even St. Mary's and Duke. Like, could St. Mary's have beaten Tennessee? Or, Miami, I don't think Indiana, I guess St. Mary's did beat Indiana by like 30 the year before, which again, people forget. But some of these teams that they've had to play in the second round, UConn last year, UCLA the year before, like they've just caught some tough breaks in that really I don't know if they've deserved given, they schedule hard. They play Gonzaga pretty well. They had a really good year last year that kind of gets forgotten because of, like you said, San Diego State happened. So we'll always have that college game day game where I don't know if game day was there or not, but we'll always have that late night Saturday night overtime win over Gonzaga. And I haven't looked at their schedule yet, but I'm just kind of, they bring a lot of people back, like Aiden Mahaney. That's going to be awesome. They only lose a couple guys. They bring in a Harvard transfer. They do play San Diego State this year.
They play New Mexico. They play San Diego State. They play Davidson. They play Utah.
I will say, sidebar here real quick, just like in doing prep for this, being able to, click on an ESPN profile for these teams and just seeing the 2023-24 schedule is very exciting and satisfying. Like, I know that's going to waste a lot of time coming up, but yeah, no, they have and then they play like half the Mountain West. It looks like Boise State. They're going to be good. Colorado State's always tough. UNLV. So yeah, I think that's a good pick and one that, one of these years they're due for. I don't know if they cashed it all in with that Villanova upset in 2010. Shout out Omar Samhan, but they're long overdue for another run, I think, and this could be the team.
It's interesting. Like, once Virginia lost to UMBC in the first round of whatever year's NCAA tournament that was, there was this big referendum that teams that play like Virginia, that have a slower tempo, that are more defense oriented, that aren't super sexy offensively and aren't going to score a lot of points, are just doomed to not find success in the NCAA tournament. And Virginia eventually won its national championship. And then, like, San Diego State's run in the NCAA tournament last year is proof of concept that you can get to the pinnacle of college basketball by doing the little things, by having just a bunch of athletes, by playing really good defense, by excelling and defending the perimeter, doing all these little things. So yeah, absolutely. Like, St. Mary's is a great selection because not only is that their MO under Randy Bennett, they bring back a lot of guys last year from a team that was really good. And I would have to agree with, I believe it was you, Austin, that said that they've kind of just run into some crappy draws in the NCAA tournament. And this is a St. Mary's team that's more than capable of making an NCAA tournament run. And it does sort of feel like they're due for it. That was just 2 seasons ago that they hammered Indiana. And of course that was a 6-11 matchup, but even still, like, I don't know, that's a good one because with sort of the uncertainty of the WCC in general, with BYU leaving and Gonzaga's constant, like, will they, won't they with a larger conference, St. Mary's is really a program to watch out there.
I'll also just add one more thing that I even kind of forgot about until right now, but that in their second round game against UConn, they were only down 1 at halftime in that game.
Yeah.
Like, it was it was a competitive game. Like they might have, I mean, there's an argument that they played UConn closer than any other team in that tournament run last year. And that's just another reason to give them our respect, I think.
Yeah, Iona also played UConn very close.
Yeah, that's true.
First half of that game as well. I think Iona might actually. I don't know if St. Mary's. No, St. Mary's was too. But I think Iona also had a lead for a good portion of the first half of that game against UConn. But neither.
It was actually. I'm looking closer. It was. I mean, they were only down 2 with 14 minutes left in that one. So it was really just they ran out of gas. I mean, I vaguely that was going on around the same time that like Marquette, Michigan State was. So it was kind of like I was going to watch that instead of UConn St. Mary's that day. So it was kind of forgotten, but yeah, respect to the Gales.
All right, Matt, get us going. Discourse team number 1.
All right, I think we kind of have to start. We talked about them a little last week, but Memphis is just an absolutely fascinating program right now. Let's start at the top. Big picture. Penny comes in wanting all the smoke, and then year 1 was kind of a wash. They bring in James Wiseman. He plays 2 games and then is out or just decides to sit out the rest of the year. So they're super hyped up. 2019-20 class was probably going to miss the NCAA tournament before it got canceled. Then 2021, they go and win the NIT, if I remember correctly. And then, respectable game against Gonzaga in the second round in 2022. And then last year, the famous water bottle chuck after just completely blowing that FAU first round game. One of the more nuts finishes of the year. Truly just like respect to Penny in that they changed their identity over the years from, we're going to be this flashy team that has all of the hot shot incoming like 5-star freshmen, Monty Bates, James Wiseman, Jalen Duren. And then, last year they just got old and were a miserable team to play. Like another thing, like that last game before the selection show, they absolutely blew out Houston in the AAC championship game, ended Houston's time there on quite a sour note. And I mean, they were a hot team at the end of last year. Besides, I think it was Jamal Shed for Houston was the one that hit that just cold-blooded dagger at the FedEx Forum, which ruled, by the way, another fun memory from last year. But then this offseason, just weird situation with them, they kind of get rid of nearly their entire team, either graduated or transferred. I think 12 to 13 people left the program. They bring in, 4 recruits. One of them is Mikey Williams, probably not going to play. He's in a lot of legal trouble right now. He was the most hyped. I don't follow the mixtape culture that closely, but I think he was, pretty famous in that result.
Yeah. He was.
I think he was overtime elite too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So then, they had, 3 other 4-stars, another Hardaway child joins the team. And then they bring in, 9 transfers, including, Caleb Mills, Javon Quinterly, and just Jordan Brown, who was really good at Louisiana. So they got some depth up front. So they just got really old. And then they bring in, all these different freshmen. And then on the coaching staff, they bring in Rick Stansbury, Ricky Three. So Stansbury they sub out Frank Haith, who I completely didn't know was on their staff last year until research here, for Rick Stansbury. That's kind of like the Taylor Martinez, Adrian Martinez Spider-Man meme this weekend, where it's like, yep, that's the same person. And they also bring in, apparently Stansbury has a son or relative of some sorts, Noah Stansbury. He's walking on, transferred from Western Kentucky. So it's just, there's never a boring season in Memphis. And this year, all these freshmen and all these just, guys with like mortgages and families, like in their late 20s are on this team. It's going to be a fascinating team.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of out on Caleb Mills. He's the new Seth Towns to me. Like I thought he was going to take Florida State to that next level. Maybe there's just more going on at Florida State than we know about, but I thought he was a missing piece for them. very clearly he wasn't. So I'm higher on Quinterly than I am on Mills.
It's interesting. Memphis returns just 14.9% of its minutes from last season, and that is, as Austin mentioned, there are a lot of Division I college basketball teams. That is, I mean, I can't count quickly, but you're looking at Memphis in like the 335 range for like no continuity there. But yeah, I mean, the identity is funny how it's changed. They've become a little hard-nosed, and it's because they're older, but they've got a bit of an edge to them. At least they did last year. All three of those games against Houston were like appointment television. And it was really impressive to see that, Penny team really grit and grind and play with a bit of a mean streak in that nasty edge. All three of those games went down to the wire and they were fun. It kind of shows that there might be a bit of an, identity change in Memphis a little bit. So I'm very interested to see how they do this year for sure.
Also, we forget Penny has a 3-game ban to start the year from the James Wiseman situation. So he'll be missing games. He'll be missing Jackson State, Missouri, and Alabama State. So Missouri, that's a pretty big game. So, but again, I just want to give props to Penny for, adjusting and not, set in his ways. Like he adjusted to, make Memphis a respectable program after, kind of being the laughingstock for a few years there.
Absolutely. Landon, discourse us. Who you got?
Excellent. Well, I know we are a little bit limited on time, so if I may, I'd like to run through a couple of sickos quick. Number one, shout out to Lemoyne, who is the only school that's transitioning up from Division II to Division I this year. Their mascot's the Dolphins. It's a college in New York. Kind of cool. They're also in the horrible NEC, which might lead to them having some success this year at the Division I level. So that's one to look out for. Kind of interesting that after a couple seasons where we've had, it felt like at least a solid handful of teams make the jump. There's only one this year. It also warms my heart to no longer see the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils at the complete bottom of preseason projections, as with Chicago State, who is a little bit higher up as well.
He was trying to get football. They're trying to get FCS football. Different episode, different time.
And then the two power conference teams I really wanted to go into a little bit further detail on, but didn't, were Stanford and Florida. For various reasons, I'm curious how their respective seasons go. Stanford, the Jared Haas era has kind of been awful, to put it lightly, but they've got a really experienced returning crew this year. They got Jared Bynum from Providence, the transfer portal. Which that's like I didn't know he went there, transfer of the offseason. It feels like what a transition from going from Providence to playing at Stanford. And then kind of the same thing with Florida. Kind of curious what the post-Colin Castleton era looks like for them. They've got a couple of young guards coming back, but I really like what they did in the transfer portal, getting Samuel from Seton Hall, and then, of course, my guy Zion Pullen. But the first team I wanted to go into a little bit further detail on is a common theme along all of mine, which are Nebraska opponents, and that's Duquesne. So Duquesne is currently the highest rated team according to Bart Torvik in the A10. They're 57th. They're ahead of teams like Rutgers, 59th, Michigan, 62nd, Minnesota, and Penn State on the preseason 2024 forecast per Bart Torvik. You'd be forgiven for questioning why Duquesne, which is a program that has not made the NCAA tournament since 1977, is being thought of so highly entering the 2023 season. They have one of the longest droughts in the history of college basketball, and they find themselves in the company of all these Power 6 teams. It's interesting to look at. They're coached by Keith Dambrot, who was LeBron James's high school coach, coached at Akron for a while. That was sort of his claim to fame. Last season, Duquesne had a really promising year. They went 20-13. They're looking to win 20 games for back-to-back years for the second time since the 70s. So they did it once in the 70s. They're looking to do it again. I am really interested to see whether or not this preseason expectation matches up to how things actually go on the court. It's kind of rare to see a team like Duquesne being thought of, at least in predictive metrics, so highly before a season starts. They've got two returning guards, Jimmy Clark and Day Grant. Day Grant's more of a scorer. Clark's a defense first guy, but can also fill it up a little bit. But they did some work in the portal, and that's what I kind of mainly wanted to hit on. They brought in the Drame twins, formerly of St. Peter's fame, Fusini and Hassan. They were both at LaSalle last year. But those are two really experienced pickups. They also got Andre Sarasov, who I admittedly watched way too much of at Georgia Southern last year, but he's a multi-level scorer and a really talented player. And they also brought in a guy from NC State who I admittedly hadn't heard of before doing prep for this, named Dusan Mahorcic. He was their big guy last year. He played for a hot second, and then I believe injuries kind of derailed his season last year. But I pulled a quote from Busting Brackets and said, if you're Duquesne with so many seniors on this roster, this is an all-in move you make to win the A10 tournament and get back to the NCAA tournament. And we talked about earlier in the summer how the A10 is a conference that like we're sort of expecting to get back on track. And with a lot of fun storylines in there, I'm kind of wondering whether or not Duquesne can live up to that hype and be like the fun mid-major team of this year, or whether or not the preseason expectation is something that ultimately doesn't get lived up to. But the A10, not necessarily last year so much, but Richmond a couple seasons ago was a very fun NCAA tournament participant. So, why not Duquesne? It always takes me back when you see an A10 team ranked that highly. They're the number one team in the A10 preseason per Bart Torvik. I know other outlets like the Almanac have them at 4th, I think. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what this year looks like for Keith Dambrot and whether or not Duquesne can break this like 46-year NCAA tournament drought. People think they might.
Really interesting non-conference schedule. They play College of Charleston, who was a lot of fun last year. Princeton, who gave Arizona everything it could handle and more in the NCAA tournament. Nebraska, I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, beat them.
Missouri too.
And Missouri, yeah. Cal Irvine, the Anteaters. I think that's a really fascinating game. Marshall, St. Peter's, and they do play the Journalist Haters. They play Bradley, last year's Missouri Valley regular season champ. So that's a not a bad non-conference slate for Duquesne to put a resume together with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of was hoping to see more of a high major flair to it, but a lot of those non-con matchups are going to play well in the net, I'm sure. And yeah, it is kind of wild, Marshall, St. Peter's, Bradley, like all of those teams have like had some sort of big upset in, recent-ish NCAA tournaments. So kind of fascinated on them. I also wanted to mention, good call on Stanford there. They're also bringing in Andrei Stojakovic, Baby Peja.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. And then Florida, yeah, that's another one that I almost went with because, I have no idea what to expect from them. They've got, I think, the youngest coach in the SEC there, Todd Golden. And then, they turned over a lot of players. And, again, they really are leaning into the transfers. And it's just hard to tell, how that's going to gel together. So that's a hard to set expectations for them.
They're 15th preseason on Bart Torvik. For me, that's crazy. They're ranked number 15. That's why, I use this website for a lot of my digging, and that just took me back. I'm kind of flummoxed by that a little bit, to be completely honest.
And I feel like Florida, they just don't have any sort. Maybe it'll change, but it's like last year they didn't, and it's hard to tell what type of identity they'll even have. So we'll see how it develops, but I have my doubts until that thing actually starts taking off.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, do you guys want we probably have time for one more each, so pick your best one. Do you guys want my Big 12 or my Big 10 team?
Big 12. We'll do more Big 10 talk later.
Okay, Big 12 team was in the news today, so you might know where this one's heading. I'm going to the Little Apple. I'm going to Manhattan, and I'm going with Kansas State. Jerome Tang just today signed a contract extension through the 2029-2030 season. It'll be worth $3 million a year. So some other coaches in that range. You have Todd Golden at Florida, Fran McCaffrey making $3 million at Iowa, Josh Pastner and Mark Adams before they were let go in that $3 million range, Chris Holtman a hair over, Kermit Davis at Ole Miss, Kelvin Sampson, Mike Woodson, Porter Moser, Matt Painter. That's the kind of money that Jerome Tang is getting now. Kansas State, obviously there's a prove-it element to this season, making the run they did with the team they did in year one under a coach. I'm always going to be curious about that. I think there's a prove-it element too, because is Kansas State a football school or a basketball school with what Chris Kleiman's doing? So Jerome Tang needs to carve out a niche. And then when you actually look on the court, when you look at their roster, two just fascinating transfers. Tyler Perry from North Texas. Sorry, Landon, should have given you a trigger warning before that one. But the other one is Arthur Kaluma from Creighton transfers down there. So you know what Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson did last year. Are Tyler Perry and Arthur Kaluma the next Noel Johnson duo? Fascinated to see how Kansas State fares in the new look Big 12.
Austin, so I think we might have the same Big 12 and Big 10 teams, first of all. I also had Kansas State down, and I wrote to a T, Tang will hope that Tyler Perry and Arthur Kaluma can recreate some of the magic last year that Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson brought about. I just had to take a step back and cover my mouth there for a second, because that was awesome. I also had Kansas State down, which is a funny little coincidence because, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a prove year, because I think Jerome Tang has earned himself a great bit of goodwill just because of the season he had. But you could tell right away that something was different. I went to a game in the Octagon of Doom last season. I went and watched my beloved Oklahoma State Cowboys have their dreams crushed. But you could see how much Jerome Tang has endeared himself to the university and endeared himself to the student section. And it's a great program. They do bring back a couple of key role pieces from that team I wanted to hit on too. I really like Naquan Tomlin a lot. I don't know how much of a New York City flair this season's roster has as opposed to last year, but Naquan Tomlin is a New York City guy. He's bigger, he's 6'10", but he can kind of do a lot of different things. He's not traditional back to the basket big. So I would say really look out for him. With a good season, I feel like he might even be able to put himself on NBA draft radars, because he's got a unique sort of skill set for being a 6'10" guy.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit skeptical of Kansas State. One other, and I'll get into that in a minute, but one other player I kind of have my eye on for them is Quez Glover, who had a couple good seasons at Samford, but he was a pretty high, if I remember correctly, he was a pretty highly rated recruit coming into Florida for Mike White. So he could be, another, I don't know how big of a role he's going to play on this team, but yeah, I don't know what to expect with Kansas State, and with just how loaded the Big 12 is this upcoming year. I think they could be good again, like a year from now, but this almost feels like a rebuilding year for them. If Tyler Perry does, I don't think he's going to be, I think he's going to be a really good point guard, but I don't think he's going to be Marquise Noel 2.0. And same with Kaluma. He's good if the dudes around him are good. Like, he's a talented player, but I'm just not sure that that's another, top 25, top 15 team. So I honestly, especially with all of the other talent in that conference, like, they could find themselves at the bottom of the totem pole this year before, getting better next year.
Landon, I'm sorry for stealing team number 2 from you. Matt, team number 2 from you for the discourse.
Okay, I'm going to make this quick and disgusting. So I had a few other teams I was kind of looking at, like St. John's, probably worth a whole other segment. North Carolina, definitely worth a whole other segment. Virginia, Arizona, Colorado could be just as fun in basketball as they are in football. But I'm going to go just the outright sickos route, and let's talk about UW Green Bay.
Yes, let's go. Go Pack, go.
Very consistent team last year. They were 359th in offensive efficiency and 359th in defensive efficiency. Last year, they were coached by Will Ryan, son of Bo Ryan.
Oh, yep.
And they went 3-29, and he resigned late in the year. Without a doubt, honestly, I'd argue they were one of the worst teams in college basketball last year. And last year, after that, they kind of cleaned house again. They brought in this new coach. His name is Sonny Wicks. Definitely, he looks kind of like a clone of John Gross. And I mean that in a nice way, the former Illinois coach. And then they have, it's also a team that I keep an eye on, just, being up in Wisconsin. They have a lot of, local flavor. Amari Jenkins was a guy I used to cover when he was in high school here in Racine, at Racine Case. And then they bring in 5 transfers, a couple of them good, like, Foster Wonders came from Southern Illinois, Preston Rudinger from Valparaiso. And then they had 6 freshmen. So all in all, new staff, completely redid team, and only 3 guys returning from that team. Just kind of fascinated to see, are they going to finally get out of the cellar? Because last year they were terrible, and I just remember there was a lot of they played several just random, they played a Monday morning game against IUPUI, and it was
another discourse team eventually.
Yeah, so I thought they're a team that I just wanted to mention.
Landon, is IUPUI your Sickos team of the year?
They should be. If they're not, I really want to talk about Wisconsin at some point too. I feel like that
we got 2 minutes. Lay it on us real quick.
I feel like that's probably going to be another larger discussion for another time. But
let's
feel
do
like
that another time.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. That sort of kind of ends things for me. I would just like to pass along VMI is projected to be the number 362 in college basketball this year. So if you're looking for really bad teams, VMI among the worst. I will go quick. I'm interested to see what happens with Northwestern this year. There, not a lot of people are talking about them in the Big Ten, but they bring back Boo Buie has been there forever, quite literally forever. But him and Ty Berry make up a pretty intriguing guard core. Matthew Nicholson is back. That's another guy down low that feels like that's also been at Northwestern forever. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about the Wildcats. They had a pretty good year for themselves last year. They made the tournament. They played UCLA pretty well in the second round. But I'm curious whether or not that's just the ceiling with this crew, or whether or not Chris Collins is going to be able to take that group not only to another level in the Big Ten, but to another level nationally. And Northwestern's been a team that's kind of been on the back of my mind for a while, but I feel like they're definitely worth a mention here. So I'm going to go with Northwestern.
Collins is a cycle guy. They'll be good once every 3, 4, maybe 5 years if it takes a while. They never really bottomed out under him. They've always just been mediocre. But then he keeps those teams together, and you get the first appearance and the first win in school history. Then you have last year where they win and then they play UCLA pretty tight. So I'm a little down on Northwestern. I think Adige, what he did defensively, was a lot more important for them than I think people realize. So I think that's the reason I would say they take a step back, but definitely interesting.
They absolutely have my attention again. And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Landon, in that it feels like no one's really talking about them. And they've got a couple transfers and maybe some of these freshmen play too. But maybe those guys plug in and work and they don't drop off. I think compared to, 2018, I think this team has a much better chance of, not dropping off the face of a cliff like they did in 2018 after the 2017 season. So it's a good call. I kind of forgot Boo Buie's still at Northwestern. And honestly, the KenPom ratings are going to be coming out sometime in the next month. And I'm fascinated to see where he has Northwestern for this upcoming season.
They're 36th on Bart Torvik, for what it's worth.
Really? That seems high.
Yeah, it does. Very much so.
We'll wait and see. Definitely a full Big Ten episode coming at some point. Plenty of teams we'll want to talk about. They're Matt and Landon. I'm Austin. This is the Corner 3 on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll wrap things up, get you all set for the Don't Punt Hour right here next on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to the Corner 3 on 93.7 The Ticket. More college basketball analysis after this timeout.
Acres, your John Deere dealer, is offering hot financing on all new compact tractors. For a limited time, get 0% interest for 84 months when you buy any new John Deere compact tractor. And with a variety of attachments, you'll make quick work of chores around your acreage. From mowing to grading and moving large loads, Acres has a John Deere tractor to handle your toughest projects. Don't delay. Visit your local Acres store to take advantage of this great offer. Acres, solutions for every field. Offer expires September 30th, 2023, subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial.
All right, it's lunchtime. Where should we go today?
How about Qdoba? We can get free queso and chips with an entree purchase.
Whoa, how'd you know about that?
It's in the campus cash booklet that we got for free to start the school year, the student marketplace. You didn't get yours?
I'd better go grab mine now.
You'd better stop at the College of Hair Design, too. Your hair is getting long. $8 haircut with a campus cash book.
What about my friends who are out of college?
They can download the Campus Cash app for free and get great deals, too, from Pizza Hut, Juice Stop, Craft Axe Throwing, and tons more.
Campus Cash, the student marketplace. Find your free booklet on campus or download the Campus Cash app.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, starting the work week off with mostly sunny skies, an afternoon high around 81. Tonight we'll see mostly clear skies and a low around 55. And tomorrow more of the same, more sunshine. Temps a little cooler tomorrow. We'll see high around 78. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the corner three on 93.7 The Ticket. Here is your host, Austin Orman.
Just a couple minutes or so left here on the corner three, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Also be up on a podcast for you if you missed any of the hashtag discourse, as we called this episode. Like I said, we're definitely going to have a Big Ten episode at some point, because there's a lot of fascinating teams in the conference. The team that I didn't get to from the Big Ten for my discourse team to watch is Ohio State. Ohio State very high on my list, a team that finished a few games under 500 last year, 5-15 in Big Ten play. It was a mess. They fell apart, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They bring in a lot of talent, though, out of the portal, return a couple key pieces, and a couple good recruits as well. Two other Big Ten teams that I will tell you to keep your eye out for are Maryland and Michigan. Keep your eye out for them in different ways. Maryland brings back an intriguing trio of Jahmir Young, Julian Reese, and Dante Scott. They had Jordan Geronimo from Indiana. What does Kevin Willard do in year two over there? And Michigan, obviously we send our best wishes out to Juwan Howard, recovering from heart surgery. That was a couple weeks ago, so he's still on the mend. Phil Martelli is in and handling interim duties right now as they start fall practice. So best of luck to Juwan Howard in his recovery. Looking at the roster, though, again, couple curious pieces back in Doug McDaniel. You have Jace Howard back. Jet Howard leaves. Interesting transfer class. Olivier Namkua, my sworn enemy from the second round game between Duke and Tennessee last year, as well as Namari Burnett. That's a name of a guy that's been around. How does Michigan respond to the Caleb Love situation? He's not there. He ends up at Arizona. So, yeah, the Buckeyes, the Terrapins, and the Wolverines are the Big Ten teams that I will be getting ready to talk about here soon on the Corner 3. Thanks for tuning in with us for the last hour or so. Big thanks to Matt and Landon for stopping by, providing some hashtag discourse as well. Don't go anywhere. DeMornay Pearson L is in the house. I got eyes on him. He is here. The Don't Punt Hour comes your way next year on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
If your home water doesn't taste right, look right, or smell right, just call Bryant for the solution to your water problem. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
All right, it's lunchtime. Where should we go today?
How about Qdoba? We can get free queso and chips with an entree purchase.
Whoa, how'd you know about that?
It's in the campus cash booklet that we got for free to start the school year, the student marketplace. You didn't get yours?
I'd better go grab mine now.
You'd better stop at the College of Hair Design, too. Your hair is getting long. $8 haircut with a campus cash book.
What about my friends who are out of college?
They can download the Campus Cash app for free and get great deals, too, from Pizza Hut, Juice Stop, Craft Axe Throwing, and tons more.
Campus Cash, the student marketplace. Find your free booklet on campus or download the Campus Cash app.
Acres, your John Deere dealer, is offering hot financing on all new compact tractors. For a limited time, get 0% interest for 84 months when you buy any new John Deere compact tractor. And with a variety of attachments, you'll make quick work of chores around your acreage. From mowing to grading and moving large loads, Acres has a John Deere tractor to handle your toughest projects. Don't delay. Visit your local Acres store to take advantage of this great offer. Acres, solutions for every field. Offer expires September 30th, 2023, subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any backyard landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more